Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. I will be your host today, Cameron Cannon, with my other co-host, Anthony Colincheco. And we're so delighted to have Veronica from Delicias Verito. I think I said that right?
Yes,
Good
you
job.
did.
Okay, good. Good.
Hour.
Yeah, we were talking before we started. My wife's half Hispanic, so her and her family, I'm sure, would not be too pumped if I got that wrong. So glad I did all right. Well, thanks so much for coming on today, and really, really excited about the food trailer that you're doing. So if you would just tell us a little bit about yourself personally and professionally, and we can kind of go from there.
Okay. Well, my name is Veronica, like you said, and I'm with Delicias Verito, and you said it perfect.
You said it way better than I did. Way better.
And so my business is fairly new. I just started in April. But I guess I'll go back to when it originally started, which was probably... It was the year COVID happened, which was 2020. I actually lost my job in November of 2019, which was before all this. I was in customer service, and my company was, going through tough times. So they had to lay off people. So unfortunately, I was one of them. And so it kind of ventured from there. We had just recently bought a new house, and I was like, going from two incomes to one income was like,
scary.
Right there at the holidays. And I was like, okay. So then I thought, well, do I need to look for a job right away? And I was like, well, let me go through the holidays, and then, we'll see what happens. So then, of course, the next year, COVID happened, and no one was hiring. I couldn't find a job. And I was like, now what? So, I'm always been told I'm a good cook. And like my kids love my food, and sometimes that's hard because kids are like, oh, I don't want to eat that, but my kids pretty much eat anything I make. And like all my family members, I'm always the go-to person when they want something to be cooked. So I was like, well, let me try to cook and see what comes about it. So I actually started making this kind of like snack kind of type foods. It's called a magonada. I don't know if you're familiar with what a magonada is, but it's like
sounds like an empanada. I know what that is.
No, well, this is more like on the sweet side. So it's like a mango sorbet.
Ooh,
and it's layered with like tahini, which is something that's really popular right now.
Love tahini.
With chamoy sauce and like fresh mango. So I was like, let me try this. So those went really well. And so I just kind of would put on Facebook, and it's like, hey, I'm selling this. Does anybody want? And, I kind of started getting, people to come. And yeah. And all this was through COVID. I did really good because, you couldn't go anywhere. And I guess, it wasn't really a good thing that I did it because, it was COVID. But we were careful that we had masks and everything just to make sure, if we were sick or anybody was sick, we were not spreading it. But anyway, so, it just started with like snack foods. And then from there, like I had my sister-in-law ask me, well, why don't you sell us food at my job? So then it kind of went from there where I would make plates, like fajita plates, steak plates, just typical Mexican food. And I was like, okay, so, I would sell 10 plates, 15 plates, it would be up sometimes 20, 30 plates. It just depended what people wanted. And, and I was happy with that. That was perfect for me. And then, it just kind of was like that. And eventually it just kept on. It was like that. And then we decided to go on vacation for my son. He graduated high school, and he didn't want a graduation party. He said, I want to go on a vacation. So we went to Florida. We went to Orlando. And I have family in in Florida. And so I was like, we'll visit them, and then we'll go, to the theme parks and all that. So we did all that. And my husband, he's kind of the one who got me into the idea of getting a food truck / trailer, because he would always be on Facebook, like searching and researching, and be like, look at this. And I was like, I don't know about all that. So then he found, it kept on coming up on Facebook. There was this one place, and it was in Orlando. And I was like, okay, if it's not too far, we'll go check it out. It happened to be 15 minutes away from the hotel we were staying. So I was like, I guess that's a sign. So we went, just with the intention of asking about, what it was all about. And, they kind of were like, well, if you're selling this and this and you're doing this, you're on the right track. You got what you want. You have your plan. Why not make it where everybody can enjoy it, not just your certain people that you already sell to. I was like, well, yeah, but then, the cost and all that. And then, but they got me and here I am. So I actually picked it up in April of this year. Well, no, sorry. I'd say in March, and then we started on April the 1st. So it's kind of been going from there.
And it's strictly Mexican food.
It is strictly Mexican food, and it's authentic Mexican food.
What makes it authentic?
So,
I need to know.
When I say authentic, and I don't want to bash all the the
Fake
Taco Bells and the Mexican restaurants, because they have. I mean, their food is good as well. But your authentic stuff doesn't come with lettuce, and it doesn't come with cheese, and it doesn't come with tomatoes. I mean, your authentic stuff, if for example, a street taco, and it's not ground beef. I mean, what we provide, what we offer, it's like quality meat. Like my steak is ribeye, and it's the good stuff. It's not ground beef, and it's your street taco on your corn tortilla with your meat and your onion and your cilantro and your salsa and your lime.
That's my favorite. So, like I said before, my wife is half Hispanic, and I've always loved Mexican food, but she told me I was like uncultured, sort of, because I like what they call it American Mexican food. Yeah. Most of the restaurants here, there's some really, really good ones, but most of them are American Mexican. Yes. It's like a ground beef taco with cheese, and that's it. And she took me to an authentic, sort of authentic Mexican restaurant, and I got exactly what you're talking about. I was hooked. The lime, you get the hot sauce. Oh my gosh, so good. The tahini, she loves tahini, and it just blew my mind how good. What I was missing out on all these years. Crazy. You got to try it.
I'm hungry.
I'm sorry. I could leave now and go eat.
So yeah, it's been kind of hard trying to teach the people that this is authentic. This is what Mexican food really is. Like, it's not. I mean, the American people view it as, like I said, with your tacos, with your lettuce and your tomato and your cheese and your sour cream, which that's fine. We can give you all that if you want, but it's not going to be authentic. And that's what I want to do, is I want to give the community the authentic, what we eat at home. Like, this is what I put on my table. This is what I'm giving. What I give you is what I feed my kids, what I feed my family. And that's what I want to give the community.
So I'm going to have my wife watch this podcast, because we have Taco Tuesday, and she's been doing it wrong.
There you go.
She's been doing it wrong
this whole time.
So how did you come up with the name, and then on the trailer side, did y'all buy it and then kind of outfit it yourself, or did you buy it kind of ready to go, other than just you got to put your own little personal touch on it?
So the name, it was really like, okay, what kind of name do we give it? So we had thought about it, and we came up with different names, but we were just like, I don't know. And we had thought about going with putting Delicias in our last name, but then my sisters were like, but it's not his business, it's your business. So Verito Veronica is my name. So a short, I guess like a Robert, you call him Bob for short. And like for Veronica, you call her Vero. So that's what people call me in Spanish, Vero. So Verito is like little Veronica. And that's, my husband calls me Verito. So that's kind of how we got the name. We just kind of thought it was cute. And so that's kind of how the name came about. As far as the trailer itself, we just kind of like told them what we needed, and they just gave it to us already with everything inside. And like they designed it for me. Like I kind of told them what I had in mind. I wanted it to be something originally to look Mexican, but I really like sunflowers. And so I was like, I want sunflowers on it. And that's kind of how the whole design came about of the trailer itself.
So now on the trailer side, so you pull that with a truck then,
yes.
I guess, right? Mm-hmm. So are you doing the pulling, or you learn how to drive a trailer?
Yes, most of the times I do the pulling, because most of our business is during the day. Like I've had a lot of companies that reach out to me and they want to do lunch for their employees, like have an option for them instead of them bringing their lunch, or, have an option for them. So, because my husband still works his full-time job, and we haven't been able to move away from that, but hopefully we're going to get there one day. And where we do this, both he and I, full-time.
That's awesome.
But right now it's just me. During the day, it's me and my mom who helps me, and my niece. And then in the evenings, if I have anything in the evenings, it's me, my husband, and my daughter. So it's kind of like
family business.
It's a family business. Yes, it is.
The menu, is it a set menu? Do you change it?
I change it when I go to companies only because their lunch hours are 30 minutes, some 20 minutes, some 30 minutes. So we have to go. I mean, we got to pump it. And so I do a limited menu of like maybe 4 items and kind of just let them choose from that, and we'll go from there. And something that I specialize is I want it to be fresh. I don't want it to be pre-cooked. So we cook it right there on the spot. So, I mean, sometimes I'm like, okay, it's taking a little bit longer, but I want it to be fresh. I don't want it to cook it like before I get there and it's be cold. No, when you get it, you'll get it hot because it's going to be cooked right off the griddle and handed to you. So yeah, I don't like to give anything cold. So
on the business side, is it mainly you're just selling it to people that you know and then going to small businesses, or do you like set up on the weekends? I guess, how does that work?
I actually set up, I've gotten, when I first started, I was having a hard time finding anywhere that I could set up because, the permits and the legal and everything, it was just people didn't want to have like the liability of having a food truck park in their parking lot. Because in certain counties, you have to have letters and you have to have, that people will let you park there. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. At first I was like, I'm not going to make this work because I can't find anywhere to park. So I actually ended up parking somewhere that I didn't have to have a permit. I didn't have to have permission or anything. I ended up parking there, and like just the community of people that knew me came out the first day, and, it kind of went from there. And then people started finding me on Facebook, and then, people have been requesting me to come.
Wow.
I've started like looking like, hey, I'm new to this business and I have this, and I mean, could you need a vendor? And so, it kind of went from there, and then people just word of mouth, and then on Facebook, and that's kind of how people have been contacting me instead of me contacting them. So
dang, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool, especially since starting in April. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, and I just had 2 people this weekend that have one person that came up to the trailer where we were selling was like, I've heard that you have the best Mexican food around here as far as in a food truck. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it makes you feel good that people think this about your food. And then that same day I had a lady who called me on the phone and told me that somebody had gave them my number because some of the best food that they had ever ate. So, that always makes you happy,
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Why food truck or trailer versus a restaurant?
Well, we had thought about that too. But then we were like, well, what if the restaurant doesn't work here? Because if we were going to do it, we were probably going to do it close to home in Gaffney. And we were like, well, what if it doesn't work? Because you've seen so many businesses open up and then they just don't work. And I was like, and with a food trailer, if it doesn't work here, I can go find somewhere where it does work. Mm-hmm. So, that's kind of how I decided on the food trailer. Now, eventually, my husband's dreams and goals is like, well, what if we open a restaurant and a food trailer? And I'm like, okay, just hold off. Just give me a minute because I'm trying to work this out. But now you talking about big, that's big future plans. But, one day you never know.
That's awesome. So do you have any big events coming up where people can find you?
I will be at the Cleveland County Fair in Shelby, North Carolina this year. It'll be our first year there. So, I don't know how it'll go. I'm hoping it'll go well. I'm nervous because I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be busy, or that's what I'm hoping, that we'll be busy. Because at the fair, it's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that I have planned, which is next week.
Oh wow.
A week from today.
So how do you get prepared for all that? I'm assuming you got to order all the stuff before. Is it something you can get in the grocery store? Or you ordering it from vendors? How does that aspect work?
Luckily, my husband works at a meat processing plant that's in Gaffney. So that's where I get all my beef products. Other than that, I just have to buy grocery store, Sam's, I do all the shopping, I do all the cooking, I do all I do it all. So, eventually one day I want to be big enough to have someone do all that for me. But right now at this point, I'm the everything. So yeah.
What goals do you have maybe for the rest of the year?
Well, as far as goals, I'm guessing just get out there and I don't know. I mean, I feel like some of the goals that I had have already are being achieved at this moment, you know? Like I said, you know, my husband's goal is eventually either more food trucks or a restaurant. Because I have had, you know, because we're going to be at the fair, that's almost 2 weeks. And I have had so many people I've had to turn away.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because they've been wanting me within those 2 weeks. And I mean, there's no way. Like I can't be here and there.
Once.
So then that's when my husband's idea is like, well, maybe we need to get another one. And I'm like, well, maybe you just need to hold off. But yeah, so that right now I guess my goal is just to be able to keep it moving and keep it going the way it has been.
Awesome.
Well, I guess what else do you have planned in the future? I know you have the event coming up in Shelby. Is there anything else towards the end of the year? Are you doing any catering for Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up? If you have a big family, thought about that at all?
Not that I have of everything. Just kind of comes like as events come. People will just call me up. Like I do have an event that somebody contacted me yesterday for Halloween.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they're really excited. That one's actually going to be in Chesney.
Okay.
In Chesney, South Carolina. And other than that, big things. That's pretty much the only big thing that I have. And everything just kind of comes. I mean,
just going with the flow.
Yep. Just as people, I'll pull out my book, which is all torn to pieces now because it's so many times that I open it and close it and I'll just say, okay, well, they'll ask me the date and I'm booked that day. I have this date and this date. And then they'll be like, okay, well, give me this date. So, I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to get them when I can. You know, I can't do it maybe on the day they want, but they still want to book me. So they'll book me for a different day. So,
yeah. What's one of being a small business owner and an entrepreneur, what's one of the maybe hardest things that you've had to overcome and any advice you'd give to somebody maybe looking to start their own business?
I think the hardest thing is just like all the hoops you have to go through, like the permits and the DHEC and, you know, making sure everything is squared away. Like, cause I don't want to be somewhere without a permit that I'm not supposed to be. You know, I want to have everything by the rule. I don't want to be doing something I'm not supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, because you have to go through inspections. You have to make sure everything is, you know, up to par. And you can't, I mean, other than that, I think that's been the hardest thing. And like I mentioned earlier, one of the hardest things for me at first was finding where to park. But, you know, like I said, that kind of dwindled away because after, you know, you park one place, you know, word of mouth gets here. And then, you know, and just, I guess, connecting with the right people I had some help with the lady that was in Gaffney. And she really, really helped me a lot to get out there in the community of Gaffney. And I'm really thankful to her for giving me the opportunity to connect with people in Gaffney. So it's just, I guess, connecting with people is also hard because if you don't, it's all about who you know. Yep. So if you don't know the right person, then, so in this case, she connected with me at an event. She was there in an event that I had been booked for. And she was like, oh my gosh, you have a taco truck. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, we do all these kind of events in Gaffney and we want you. So it was like kind of from there. And we went to all of our events and people enjoyed it. And, you know, we're still in Gaffney and people ask me, when are you going to be in Gaffney again? When are you going to be in Gaffney? So I have a set day in Gaffney, which is Thursday evenings, near the railroad tracks in Gaffney. And that's my set day for Gaffney.
And that's every Thursday?
That's every Thursday, unless I have something that's already booked. Event,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dang, I'm going to have to be driving up to Gaffney, I guess.
I was kind of hoping she brought some tacos for us.
I'm so hungry now.
Remember, I said I don't like to give cold food.
I know.
That's true. Then I'm a girl here.
Well, we do have a signature question, and it's what makes you tick? And Anna from our team said that that question sometimes can be confusing.
Okay.
So what makes you go? What makes you get up in the morning and just want to make delicious food?
Well, I guess, I don't know. It is a hard question to answer because there's so many things that, play into the fact of you getting up every morning. I guess I would have to say my family, like my kids, I want them to see that their mom is a go-getter. I'm always at it. I'm always doing something. I'm always working. Now, my youngest, sometimes he doesn't understand. He's like, oh, Mom, why do you got to sell today? Whoa, why do you got to do this? And I'm like, well, we have to put food on our table. We have to be able to make a living so I can make a living for you guys and provide for you guys. So, then he kind of understands, but, he's only 9. So he, sometimes doesn't understand. But yeah, I would have to say I've always been the type of person that if I want something, I'm going to get it done. Like either if I can't get it done, I'm going to figure out a way to get it done, but it's going to get done. And I'm a perfectionist, which sometimes is not a good thing. So I like things to be perfect. And sometimes, like I said, it's hard on me sometimes. And I have to sometimes let things go, but hard. But yeah, I think that, I think that would be it.
Well, we're so excited to hear about this. And personally, I'm a lover of all things Mexican food. So I will definitely be coming to see you 100%. And I'm sure my wife is going to be ecstatic. What's the best way for people to contact you if they want to bring you to their business, bring you to an event, or just be able to follow you on social media in general?
Well, we do have a Facebook page. It's a business Facebook page now, so I'm not Facebook savvy. I'm not social media savvy. My sister is the one who's actually in charge of that because she's all into those things. And the Facebook page is Delicias Verito. So just look me up under Delicias Verito. And you'll find all the contact information there. And we post there every day where we're going to be, where we're going to be parked. So that way you can find us wherever we are. We'll be posting day by day.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming. We really, really appreciated this, and I'm excited and hungry, so I can't wait.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. Please like us, share us, and go follow her on all of the social medias as well. Until we see you again, go out and make our community great. Thanks.